What does financial independence mean, and how much money do you really need to attain it? Now, I know a lot of people that talk about financial independence and passive income, and sometimes I hear the way they talk about it. It makes me wonder whether people really understand how much money they actually have to have in order to be financially independent. Now, I understand that financial independence can mean different things for different people, but for the purposes of this video, we're just going to go on a basic framework of what financial independence means, so that we're all on the same page. Okay, so we're going to do 4 things in this video, right? And look at them as 4 steps. We're firstly going to define financial independence for the purposes of this video and, what we need to cover, right? Secondly, we're going to determine what financial independence means to you as an individual, in essence, how much money you need to be making on an annual basis in order to be financially independent. And then thirdly, I'm going to give you a very simple and basic formula that you can use to determine how much money you need to have saved up inside your investment fund or investment portfolio, right? That would be generating passively the amount of money that we determined in step 2. That was your number that you needed in order to be able to live, right? So basically in step 3, we're looking for what you could, what is often referred to as your financial independence number, right? The total amount of money that you need to have saved up in your investment portfolio that you can comfortably withdraw from on an annual basis, right, and live off of, right? So that's that. And then lastly, in step 4, we're gonna look at 3 different levers, so to speak, that you can manipulate, move back and forth in order to help you attain financial independence a little quicker. Okay, so that is basically that. Now, starting with number 1, right? Financial independence. For our purposes, really simple. We're just basically looking to get to a point. Financial independence would basically be you getting to that point where you're generating enough in passive income to cover your living expenses, okay? On a monthly basis, annual basis, whatever that is, right? Now, this is just to clarify, because this is one of the things that I hear all the, with passive income, people throw that around carelessly, right? And passive income, when we talk about passive income, we're basically meaning we're making money that we don't have to be actively working, right, to make. So this is income that even if you stop working, the money still keeps coming in on a consistent basis, right? So I know a lot of times, like especially like in the digital marketing space or the space of selling courses, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and all that, we often hear, we often talk about like making money in our sleep and calling it passive income, or like even just money that comes from making videos on YouTube, AdSense money, right? Yes, that money comes around when you're not working actively, right? Or it's passive because even though you've stopped working, the money keeps coming in. If you stop completely, there's going to come a point where that money dries up and it doesn't continue coming in. So I don't really see that as passive per se. When I talk about passive, I'm talking about true passive income, where if you're not working, you're not doing anything, the money still continues to come. And the first thing that comes to mind when we look at stuff like that, I'm talking about investment income, right? You can even consolidate. You could even look at real estate, money that comes to rental income, right? Stuff like that. Let's just say you have like a property manager and all that type of stuff, and you're not doing any of the work, and they're just taking care of money, just keeps on coming. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds right now. So that's basically that, right? So we're looking to generate passive income, true and real passive income that you literally do not have to work anymore for the rest of your life, and have that money coming in on a consistent basis, right? Indefinitely. So that's basically what we're looking at. So financial independence is just basically getting to that point where you are generating enough in passive income to cover your living expenses. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, all right, let's move on to the second item, right, or step 2. Now, this is determining what financial independence means, or not what it means, what financial independence looks like to you, right? So it's going to be different for everybody, right? You'll see like a lot of these, I don't know, sometimes news articles and all that, they'll come out telling you that, oh, this is the amount of money that you need to be making in order to be financially independent, or this is the number that you need to hit, right? That everybody needs to. We're all different people, right? What you need and what fulfills you, what makes you happy in life is going to be very different from what that looks like to me, right? So if you have a very simple and very basic lifestyle, right, and you just determine that, okay, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. I mean, for some people that's even a lot, but let's just say here in the US, right, 50,000 is more than enough for you to be happy and live a comfortable lifestyle, right? 50,000 per year. That's your number, right? For somebody else who is a little more, maybe wants some of the finer things in life and all that type of stuff, that might not be enough. They may want to be making 100,000. They want to be making 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, whatever that number is. It's going to be different for everybody. So you need to determine what works for you, right? So like, I mean, does this mean, think about things like what city you want to live in, right? Where, what kind of lifestyle do you want to be living, right? Do you always want to go on vacations, right? And things like that, right? Those are all things that you need to sit down and look at and determine what is going to be enough for you, right? So people obviously, people living in cities like LA, New York, Miami, stuff like that. Generally speaking, what they need to survive, right? Or, I mean, when you say survive, it sounds like you're just getting by, but what they would need, right? Their living expenses are generally speaking going to be higher than other than the living expenses of people in other smaller cities, right? So these are all things you need to factor in. You just decide for yourself what an ideal life would look like for you if living on 50,000, 20,000, 30,000, 60,000, 100, 200, 300, 400, a million, whatever that number is for you, you need to determine that, and it's going to be different for everyone, okay? Now, moving on to step 3, okay? This is the formula I was talking about, right? This is like a very basic, simple formula to determine how much money you need to have saved up in your investment fund or investment portfolio or whatever other sources of income that you have coming in. This is a very basic way for you to determine how much you need to have saved up so that you can live off of the returns that foundation gives you, okay? Now, the simple formula is, let's just say we're assuming like the 4% rule, right? The 4% rule is just basically, in simple terms, is just basically the fact that, let's say, whatever your investment portfolio has, it should be able to generate if you take 4% of that amount, right? If you take 4% of that amount, it should be enough to cover those living expenses. So let's just say, for example, and the formula, real quick, is you can go about it 2 ways, right? If you're going off of 4%, you can basically take what your annual living expenses are and multiply that by 25, okay? Or take that same figure, your annual expenses, and divide by 0.04. All right, it'll give you the same number. So just for example purposes, right? For example, let's just go off of the simple, $40,000, right? Let's just say $40,000 is all that you need to live on, on an annual basis, right? Like you just need $40,000 coming off of your investments, right, every single year without messing with the principal. And bear in mind, I'm throwing out these numbers. These are just basic numbers. We're not factoring taxes, before tax, after tax, and all that. You can do those calculations for yourself on an individual basis. This is just the simple math behind it, right? So let's just say it's 40,000. If you take 40,000 and multiply by 25, all right, that's $1 million. So essentially you need to have $1 million saved up inside your investment portfolio. Okay. And the whole 4% rule just basically dictates that every single year, right? Like, and if you're just being conservative, right, that you're making a 4% return on your investment, right? That $1 million, 4% of $1 million is going to be $40,000. Okay. So it's either that, or you can just take that same $40,000, okay, and divide it by 0.04, okay, and it will give you that same $1 million. All right. Now, if you're one of those people that lives a more lavish lifestyle, or you need a little bit more, I shouldn't say lavish lifestyle, right? You want a little bit more and you want to be comfortable, right? And say you want to survive, you want $100,000 every single year, right? You want $100,000, okay? So it's real simple. You take that $100,000 again and divide it by 0.04. That should give you about 2.5 million, right? $2.5 million. Okay. So if you want to be living on $100,000 passively every single year for the rest of your life, right, without having to work, you would have to have $2.5 million. Okay. So that's that's basically it in simple terms. Okay, so that's the simple formula. It's either take that annual amount that you want to be living off of, multiply by 25, right, or take that same annual amount and divide it by 0.04, right? You're just dividing by that 4% in essence. Okay, so that's the basic formula. So now it's left to you to determine where you are right now financially, and where, if you're behind, right, or if you're ahead, how much you're making, or how much money you need to be making even more right now to help you get to that number. Okay. This would be in essence what they call your financial independence number. So like I said, that's going to be different for everybody, right? Don't be worried about, like, I think maybe back in the day, everybody was always looking to hit, if you could hit 1 million, that's more, that's, you've made it, right? And you can live off of the investments from 1 million. Now people are talking about 4 million and $5 million, right? I mean, that's if you need 200,000, and there are people like that. Listen, there's no shame here. The most important, there's no shame in how little or how much you want to be living on. Like I said, we are all different. The bottom line is you just need to know what works for you, and you need to have a plan in place to figure out how you're going to get there. Okay. So speaking of having plans in place of how you're going to get there, the last step that I mentioned earlier was, we're going to, in step 4 here, all right, or the fourth item we're going to be covering is essentially the 3, what I refer to as levers, right? 3 different things that you can manipulate, or so to speak, right, to help you attain your financial independence number sooner, right, or later, however you want to do it. Okay. So the first thing you can do, right, is lower your cost of living. Okay, like lower your expenses. Is not necessarily the the most fun thing to do for most people, I suppose, but That's one of the ways, that's one of the first things you can do, right? So wherever you're living right now, maybe you need to downsize, right? Go get a place where your rent is cheaper, or get a smaller house, stuff like that, right? So that's one of the things that you can do, right? You can reduce your cost of living, give up certain what do you call it, subscription, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you're spending on right now. If you can live without it and you can reduce that cost, that's something that will help you, that will help you save some money a little quicker, right? To add to your base, your financial independence base, right? To get to that financial independence number sooner. The second thing that you can do is try to maximize your income earning potential, right? So at your current job, if there are opportunities for a promotion or or a raise, right? Or switching jobs altogether, going to another place where you're earning more, or even starting a side hustle to add to, on top of what you're already making, right? Those are all things that you can do to, try to make a little bit more money a little sooner. So a little bit more money so that you can add it to your financial independence, your investment portfolio, right? To hit that number, to hit your financial independence number a little sooner. And then the last thing, right, the third thing that you would be doing is to take all that money that you saved from maybe reducing your living expenses, right? Or the money that you made from making more money, right? Extra income, right? Take that money and invest it, okay? Invest it, add it to your investment portfolio, and invest it as much as possible, because it's in investing, right, that your money's going to compound, right? That your money's going to grow through through dividends, interest, right, and capital gains over time, right? Because if you're just looking to just save and just put your money aside just to save and to hit your financial independence number, you're going to be saving for an eternity, okay? Compound interest is like, well, I don't know if it was Warren Buffett or whoever said it, maybe Einstein, Warren, but I don't know, the eighth wonder of the world or something like that. But compound interest is magic, right? And time's in your favor. So if you're younger, time is going to be something that is in your favor, right? If you're younger, you don't have to put aside as much money, right? Because you have time on your side. If you're a little bit older, then you're going to have to start looking to put in a lot more money, right? More money, as much money as possible, right? But again, like I said, these are all things that you just need to look at your life, what you're willing to give up in life earlier on, or in terms of like entertainment or things that you do for fun that cost money and all that. This is just going to be on your own case. It's going to be an individual choice, right? So only you can sit back and look at what you're willing to give up today to enjoy later tomorrow, or not, right? But those are the three levers that you can move around to try to hit your financial independence number sooner. Okay. So that is essentially it in a nutshell, right? When you look at the whole thing about financial independence and how much, the amount of money that you need, where usually it's going to be like in the millions, okay? It's going to be in the millions if you're, looking at the 4% rule. If you want to be a little more aggressive, right, then you're assuming a 5% withdrawal rate from your investments every year. Or if you want to be a little more conservative, then you want to be looking at 3%, right? And in each case, right, if it's 5%, you want to multiply how much your annual amount that you need to make, on a yearly basis, multiply it by 20 as opposed to 25, or divide by 0.05. Okay. So that's essentially that. Now, if you're looking for, an extra source of income, right? Like if you're looking to start a side hustle, like what I'm doing right now is, it used to be my side hustle, which has now become my main hustle. All right, one of the things that I'm doing to help me get to attain financial independence is an online business, right? That's selling digital products using digital marketing, right? If that is something that is of interest to you, I would highly encourage you to check out the first link in the description below this video. It will show you exactly how to get started monetizing your knowledge or promoting other people's products as an affiliate, where you don't even have to create any of the products yourself, right? That's definitely something that I highly encourage a lot of people to do, because this low startup cost, it's low barrier to entry, something that anybody can get into. And then if you don't want to spend or invest any money into starting a business or anything like that, the other thing I would highly encourage you to do is check out the second link in the description below, whereby you can start promoting a financial product as a financial product as an affiliate, where you will get paid $75 for each referral. So this would be with SoFi, right? They are a financial services company, multi-billion-dollar company. And if you open a high yield savings account with them, right, which is one of their most popular products, they will give you $25 just for opening the account and depositing $50 into the account. Okay, and then once you have that, you'll have your own unique referral link that you can share with friends and family to open their accounts, whereby you get paid $75. Now, the good thing about that is you can actually be using that account, because it's a high yield savings account, to save your, even though we have money that we saved into our investment portfolios and all that, you can do that with SoFi, right? You can invest with, they have SoFi Invest, you can do that. And you can keep your money, your emergency funds and all that type of stuff inside a high yield savings account, which incidentally yields 4%, right? At the time of this recording anyway, right? So rather than keeping your money in a brick and mortar bank where you're earning virtually nothing, why not keep it in a high yield savings account like SoFi, whereby you can earn 4% on your saved money? Okay, so that's real passive income, right? The money's just sitting in there, you're not having to do any extra work, but you're making more money, right? And then on top of that, you get to refer other people to join and make money. So that is a side hustle in itself. For each person, you're looking at $75. So if in any given month you can get 10 people, right, that's $750 right there. Okay, and they will pay you up to $10,000 per calendar year. So once you hit $10,000, then you got to wait till the next calendar year, and then you can do it again, right? So those are two side hustles that you can get going to help you build, to help you attain your financial independence number, right? A little sooner rather than later, right? By making extra money. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. I will be sure to answer. And if you are one of the few that made it this far, and I say that because most people have very short attention spans, right? I highly appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I will catch you in my next video. Ciao.